It really feels like over the last few years, Port Canaveral as a port has just really boomed far beyond what it's been doing even pre-COVID. And this winter of the 2023 and 2024 cruise season is no exception, as it's probably their busiest yet. What's going on, everybody? My name is Brandon. If you like cruise news, cruise vlogs, and ship tours, and of course Port Canaveral content as we relate to this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified every time we upload a new video. So over the last few years, Port Canaveral's really picked up a lot of business here on the Space Coast with cruise lines. It's always been a relatively popular port, but lately it just seems like it's gone from a pretty good size to just massive. One of the busiest cruise ports in the world. It's controversial, a hot topic, but on paper, Port Canaveral has more guests than the Port of Miami, which is the cruise capital of the world. But that also includes a lot of passengers that are coming in from up north on ships that are coming in from New York, whereas Miami does not have that. Miami per ship still is the busiest cruise port, but Port Canaveral sees more passengers because throughout the week we see an Oasis class, we see MSC Meraviglia, and other additional ships, even Quantum class ships that come in throughout the weeks, whereas we don't normally get that in Miami. So that's kind of the hot topic there. But on paper, technically, Port Canaveral does see the most cruise passengers over any other cruise port in the US and in the world, really. But with that said, Port Canaveral is getting ready for their busiest season yet. Starting in just a few weeks, October 25th, we have Allure of the Seas is coming in to replace Independence as a 3 and 4 night Bahamas cruise. So now we're going from a Freedom class for Bahamas cruises to a Oasis class for Bahama cruises, which is huge because that's upping the passenger capacity already. And two, that's crazy to think that we have a Oasis class coming in for 3 and 4 night cruises, which of course we have Utopia coming next year, but that's a whole different topic. Anyway, so we have Allure of the Seas coming in. We also have Adventure of the Seas coming in on November 10th, which is actually ironically the day that I go on Allure of the Seas. So if you want to stay tuned for those videos, definitely hit that subscribe button. But we're sailing on Allure of the Seas on November 10th. And ironically, we also have Adventure of the Seas is going to come in and start some 6 and 8 night cruises from Port Canaveral as well. She'll be joining her sister ship, Mariner of the Seas, and Mariner will be doing the 4 and 5 night cruises. So 2 Voyager class ships, an Oasis class ship from Royal Caribbean. We also have the Carnival Vista coming in, ironically, the day that I get off of the Allure cruise. On that Monday, she's going to be doing 6 and 8 night cruises, taking the place of Carnival Magic that we had last year. Magic's going off, I believe, to Miami or somewhere else. I'm pretty sure she's going to Miami. But so now we have a Vista class ship. Carnival Freedom is going to be coming back from her dry dock. We've had Freedom in the past, but now Freedom actually looks nice, or is about to actually look nice for once. Well, I say for once. She looked great before the fire. But she's going to have the pretty blue paint job. She's going to have a normal looking funnel, which will be great, finally. Shortly after the arrival of Carnival Vista as well, we do have the Norwegian Escape is going to be returning again for another winter season here in Port Canaveral. We had Norwegian Escape last year, but it always is good to have a nice big Norwegian ship. We did unfortunately lose out on Prima this year. Prima is off doing something else this year, but instead, we randomly got the Norwegian Epic that'll be joining us in December of 2023. So in just a little bit over a few months now, we're going to be getting her on December 17th, and she'll be sailing the Sunday sailings from Port Canaveral. She's actually going to be sailing out of Terminal 3, which is where the Mardi Gras docks. So they're going to be sharing a place with Carnival for the season for Epic, since MSC does use Terminal 10 on Sundays for their Seaside and soon-to-be Seashore. We'll get into that one next. Since Seashore will be using Terminal 10 here on Sundays in Port Canaveral, we're going to have Norwegian Epic right up close to us at Jetty Park at Terminal 3 which will be very, very cool. So we'll have Norwegian Epic joining us as well this season, which is going to be very cool to have. I believe she's coming back next year as well for the winter season of 24 and 25. And then, of course, as I mentioned a minute ago, we have the MSC Seashore will be taking the place of the Seaside. Seaside will go somewhere else, and Seashore will be taking her place doing the 3 and 4 night cruises, which are usually the Sunday to Thursdays, which is a weird weekend cruise way to do it, because usually they're Friday to Mondays, Monday to Fridays, but that's just how MSC does it. But she'll be taking over for that. And of course, on the topic of MSC, we have Meraviglia. She's not going to be returning this season like she was last year, but she will be sailing out of New York and making stops down during the weeks down in Port Canaveral. So Meraviglia will be visiting as port of call during the winter season as well, joined by, of course, Anthem of the Seas usually will come in on Tuesdays. And we have Vision of the Seas making a couple random ones either on Mondays and sometimes on Sundays. So that would be great to see Vision of the Seas. I have not seen her in a very long time. And then, of course, just all the returning ships now. We have, of course, Wonder of the Seas, Disney Wish, Mariner of the Seas is staying. We have Carnival Liberty is staying for the 3 and 4 night cruises. Mardi Gras is staying for the 7 night Carnival cruises Saturday to Saturday. And then, of course, Disney Fantasy will be staying. Disney Fantasy will be staying around for a while. She's actually going to be, I believe, leaving Port Canaveral next winter, so the winter of 24 and 25, as she is replaced by Disney Treasure, the next Triton-class ship to come in for Disney Cruise Line. So that'll be cool to have her one last full season, or I guess one last full year, really, as she's going to be leaving, I believe, the last week or maybe early 2025. So we'll have Disney Fantasy and then Disney Wish, of course, taking the 3 and 4 nights. Carnival Freedom, of course, we talked about her earlier, but she's going to be returning with her nice, pretty blue paint job and, of course, a nice brand new funnel. And she's going to continue her 4 and 5 night sailings Thursday to Monday, Monday to Saturday, and so on, with the weird 3 and 4 night schedule that they do and how those 3 days are usually the days that they're in port. But she's going to continue her 4 and 5 night sailings from Port Canaveral, and Mariner of the Seas will be doing the same thing, 4s and 5s. So pretty much every other Sunday, and it's kind of cool how they've done this. So I'll just read off of a typical schedule here real quick. So this is, in particular, Saturday, December 16th, but this is pretty much every other weekend how this is going to go. But we have Adventure of the Seas, Carnival Vista, Disney Fantasy, Mardi Gras, Norwegian Escape, and then actually this one is a rare 6-day ship, or a 6-ship day, where we have Vision of the Seas taking that number 6 spot. But what will happen is that with the 4s and 5s, typically every other Sunday, typically with the 4 and 5s, every other Saturday they're in port, and same thing with the 6 and 8 night cruises, of course. So with Adventure and Vista doing 6s and 8s, they're going to be together, but on those alternating weeks where they're not there on the Saturdays, we're going to have Carnival Freedom and Mariner of the Seas. So it'll be realistically the same lineup: Escape, Mardi Gras, Fantasy, and then Vista or Carnival Freedom, depending on the week, and then Adventure or Mariner of the Seas, depending on the week. So that'll be really interesting, actually. And then, of course, we'll have Wonder of the Seas doing Sunday 7-day sailings, and Norwegian Epic will be doing the Sunday sailings for 7 days out of Port Canaveral. So those every Sunday, pretty much. No, interesting thing with those ones. So that's really all of the ships that we have this season, or this upcoming season for Port Canaveral. It's going to be a very, very exciting year and exciting winter season for Port Canaveral. In the year of 2024, it's going to be after this season, or I guess the winter season. So I guess springtime-ish, we're going to have Carnival Glory is going to take the place of Carnival Liberty for the 3 and 4 night sailings. Those two are just doing a clean swap, where Liberty will be doing the sailings out of New Orleans for 7 days. And then Glory will take over her spot. I am actually booked on Glory with Justin. We're going, I believe in September, we're doing a 3-night sailing to Bimini from Port Canaveral just to do that ship. I've already sailed on Glory 3 times in the past. Twice out of Port Canaveral when she was originally there, and then once out of Miami back in 2013. So it'll be cool to try out Glory again. And then, of course, throughout next year, 2024 is even going to be more exciting and even more busy. As I mentioned, Utopia of the Seas, how we're getting a Oasis class on 3 and 4 night sailings with Allure. We're getting a brand new Oasis class, Utopia of the Seas, number 6, is going to be fresh out of the shipyard and doing 3 and 4 night cruises for us out of Port Canaveral. We're also going to be getting Carnival of Venezia. I'm booked on that for early 2025. That's going to be a long time from now, but I am booked on Venezia out of Port Canaveral. Very excited to be trying that ship out. I love the Vista class. It's actually one of my favorite classes from Carnival. And then, of course, next year we're going to be getting Disney Treasure, like I mentioned earlier. We're also getting Celebrity Equinox. First time we're getting a home-ported celebrity ship here. We're also getting same thing with Caribbean Princess. We're getting a princess ship next year. So we've got a very, very big winter season here ahead of us over the next couple months here in Port Canaveral. But next year, 2024, and that winter season leading into 25 is going to be even better. So it's going to be really, really awesome over the next year or so here for Port Canaveral. And I'm sure as 2026 gets closer and closer, we're going to learn about probably that new terminal that's been kind of teased a little bit. And I'm sure we're going to get some updates and probably start on construction of that, wherever that may end up being. I don't know where they're going to put that. Yeah, it's gonna be a very wild next couple years, next couple months here for Port Canaveral. There's even a 7-ship day that I noticed on March 15th of 2025. We have 7 ships that are scheduled to be in Port Canaveral, and there are only 6 terminals, so it's gonna get fun. So if you enjoy Port Canaveral, if you love the Space Coast, make sure you subscribe because we do ship spotting, especially upcoming. We're gonna be going probably once, maybe twice every single weekend, just to be seeing all of these amazing, amazing ships that are coming here to us. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you in the next one for our next ship spotting video. And of course, like I mentioned, Allure of the Seas is only about 40-ish days away from when I recorded this. So stay tuned for Allure of the Seas content. Icon of the Seas is right after that. Lots of great things coming over the next couple months. So I hope to see you guys there in the next couple of videos. Have a great day.